We all seek to be understood, to feel that our emotions resonate with someone else. But what happens when instead of finding comfort in our most vulnerable moments, we face a mirror that distorts and deflects our emotions, leaving us more lost than before? Today, we will unravel the masks of deceit, showing the 3 most heartbreaking reactions of a narcissist to your tears. Because understanding is the first step to freedom. Number 1. They revel in your pain. When tears begin to flow, revealing our deepest vulnerability, the narcissist finds in that moment a dark pleasure. Far from feeling the natural impulse to comfort, to lend a hand or dry those tears with a gesture of understanding, the narcissist sees a golden opportunity to affirm their dominance, to revel in the power they wield over our emotions. This act of rejoicing is nothing more than a manifestation of their need to feel superior, to reaffirm themselves as someone capable of influencing another's emotional state to the point of breaking it. For the narcissist, the emotions of others are like pieces on a chessboard, tools that can be manipulated and used in accordance with their interests. Seeing you cry, especially if the tears are the result of their actions, they experience a kind of twisted validation. It's a tangible reminder of their ability to deeply affect others, proof of their power. This behavior is driven by their distorted perception of human relationships, where they firmly believe that affection, attention, and vulnerability are resources that must be controlled and dominated. This need to revel in the pain of others is also a reflection of their deep insecurity and inner emptiness. Lacking genuine empathy and authentic emotional connection, the narcissist constantly seeks to assert themselves through domination and control. Every tear shed before them is interpreted as a sign of their success in this perverse game, a confirmation of their ability to pull the emotional strings at will. However, behind this display of control lies a darker reality, the latent fear of rejection and insignificance. In their world, the only way to assure their worth is through the constant demonstration of their ability to influence others, even if it means causing pain. This behavior is not only harmful to those around them but also reveals the fragility of their own self-esteem, which entirely depends on the ability to subjugate others to their will. Number 2. Seizes the opportunity to blame you. In the distorted world of the narcissist, the moment a person shows their vulnerability by crying becomes an unexpected opportunity to twist the situation to their advantage. Instead of seeing these tears as a call for compassion or a sign of shared pain, the narcissist interprets them as an opening for manipulation and blame-shifting. This tactic, far from seeking resolution or offering comfort, aims ultimately to reinforce their position of power and control within the relationship. The strategy is perversely simple and deeply hurtful. Take advantage of the victim's moment of maximum vulnerability to blame them, suggesting that the origin of their suffering is, in reality, a reflection of their own actions or deficiencies. They will make you feel that if you are crying, it's because of something you did, insinuating that any emotional harm is deserved, a direct consequence of the supposed faults of the person suffering. This inversion of blame not only diverts attention from their own harmful actions but also plants the seed of doubt and self-blame in the victim's mind. This maneuver serves a dual purpose for the narcissist. On one hand, it reinforces their narrative that they are omnipotent and immune to reproach, capable of twisting reality at will. On the other, it allows them to perpetuate the cycle of abuse, keeping their victim in a state of confusion and emotional dependence. Blame-shifting thus becomes a tool of gaslighting, a means to undermine the victim's self-confidence and their ability to objectively assess reality. The most perverse aspect of this tactic is that it exploits the affected person's natural inclination to introspect and assume responsibilities in the relationship. The victim, in their search for reconciliation and understanding, may start to believe in the narcissist's false narrative, questioning their own perceptions and emotions. This is the perfect breeding ground for the narcissist, who thrives on the uncertainty and self-questioning of their victim to further solidify their control. This emotional abuse leaves deep scars, as it attacks the very core of the person's self-esteem, making them feel that they are not only responsible for their own pain but also for the narcissist's abusive behavior. Breaking free from this dynamic requires recognizing the manipulation for what it is, a reflection of the abuser's own weakness, their inability to confront their flaws and the need to project their insecurities onto others. Number 3. Total indifference, making you feel worthless. Total indifference to the suffering of another is one of the coldest and most calculated weapons in the narcissist's arsenal, used with the intention of inflicting emotional pain and sowing doubts about the victim's own worth. In these moments of apparent vulnerability, where the natural human response would be compassion and empathy, the narcissist opts for a different path, one paved with disdain and a total lack of consideration for the feelings of the other person. This indifference is not casual or involuntary, It's a conscious choice, meant to send a devastating message: your pain means nothing to me. At the heart of this strategy lies the narcissist's desire to demonstrate their supremacy and total control over the relationship. By ignoring the tears and emotional suffering of their partner or loved one, the narcissist reinforces the notion that they are immune to the conventional norms of human interaction and affection. This indifference serves as a constant reminder that in their world, only their needs, desires, and emotions have value. For the victim, this message is profoundly disorienting and painful, as it undermines their self-esteem and the perception of their worth in the relationship and in the world at large. This tactic of indifference is particularly insidious because it attacks one of the most basic foundations of self-esteem and emotional well-being: the need to feel seen, heard, and valued. By denying these basic needs, the narcissist not only minimizes the suffering of their victim but also makes them feel isolated and fundamentally flawed, as if their pain was so insignificant that it didn't even deserve the slightest acknowledgement or validation. The narcissist's indifference is also a form of emotional isolation, a way to cut the victim off from any source of support or comfort they might have. By making the person feel that their pain is invisible to those closest to them, the narcissist effectively pushes them into a corner of loneliness and despair, where the only voice that resonates is that of the abuser, reinforcing their toxic narrative and control over the relationship. This perverse dynamic, however, reveals a fundamental truth about the narcissist themselves: their apparent strength and disdain for the emotions of others are, in reality, a veil that hides their own emotional fragility. The inability to genuinely connect with the feelings of others and to offer empathy is a reflection of their deep disconnection from themselves and their fear of facing their own vulnerability. Ultimately, their indifference is a defense, a self-protection mechanism against the recognition of their own emotional inadequacy. Recognizing the narcissist's indifference as a manifestation of their own weakness can be a powerful step towards recovery for victims of narcissistic abuse. By understanding that this tactic is a tool designed to manipulate and control, they can begin to disentangle their self-esteem from the judgment and actions of the narcissist, thus finding the path towards healing and reaffirming their value. If you need help getting out of a relationship with a narcissistic person, remember that you can always seek support from your loved ones and professional help with psychological therapy. You are not alone in this. You can share your opinion and experience in the comments, and if you liked the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.